Well, I think the difference you have is that you've got a president who dares to speak his mind, where everyone else is watching every P and Q that they speak.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, Andrew. These guys all want to be politically correct and seemingly do the right thing, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, when someone's life is lost because they let somebody into the country under the guise of feel-good politics, someone pays the price for that. And I think we went through it. I get such a kick out of watching politicians on the left here in this country, from Hillary Clinton to Kamala Harris. All of a sudden, all of them act like they weren't complicit in the last several years. They're like, we went too far. Joe Biden went too far in the last 4 years, as if they didn't cheer it on for those 4 years. But my only point is that even the folks on the far left of this country recognize the dangers that they put this nation in by those open border policies. And I just hope that no one else thinks somehow it'll turn out different for them. It's a bad idea. We're living with the consequences and hopefully sending a signal to everyone else that this is not a smart idea.
Well, I'll give you a contrast. Under this government, we had 1 year in particular where they put on 2% of the country's population through immigration alone. Absolutely astonishing. The polls, though, showed Donald Trump in trouble. I'm interested that you say you've just come back from him. I wonder how chippy you found him, how upbeat. He's in trouble, though, ahead of the year's midterm elections. If the Republicans do badly, of course, it's going to be a lame duck president. Why is he struggling, or is he? How did he look to you?
Well, first, I'll just answer that. The president was in a fantastic mood. He was on fire. Look, he was jovial. He was hysterical. He was, funny, telling jokes. So he's in a great mood. I think the one thing that's nice about where we are as a party is that all of the components are there. The economy is moving in the right direction. Job report recently was fantastic because most of the growth is in the private sector, not in the government sector. Inflation is tamed. It's under control. I think the one thing if the president's a victim of anything, it's his own success, meaning he talked about the borders. He solved the borders. He talked about improving the economy. And I think there's a desire for the American people to say, what's next? What's next? What's next? The economy needs to continue to get better. It's moving in the right direction. The president needs to remind people of everything that he's done more often. And I think the other thing that has to happen, and I keep preaching from the rooftop here in the United States, our party needs to stop relying entirely on him, meaning these rank and file members of Congress and senators that are up for re-election need to do their part. They need to go home. They need to talk about it. Too often in our country, Andrew, we wait 4-6 weeks out from an election. We buy thousands of points of television, and we think somehow that people are going to get the message. We now have moved into an age where you need to be talking about what you're doing 24/7, 365 days a year. And they can't just assume that until Donald Trump tells everybody it's going to happen. They need to do their part to pull the wagon forward. I feel good, though, that all of the components are there. He has gotten the border secure. The economy's moving in the right direction. He's holding other countries accountable for unfair trade practices. And he's bringing manufacturing and jobs back to the United States, massive foreign direct investment. I think it's going to be close. The House is very close. The Senate is very close. But we have a record of accomplishment, and the president has led the way on actually not making excuses, but getting things done. I'd rather, have a bigger majority to play with, but we're in a good spot, and I think it's going to get better.
Gosh, we could only dream of a growth rate approaching 5%. We're in the doldrums. Meanwhile, you mentioned holding countries accountable. The US is sending more planes, of course, and more warships to Iran. You've got Israeli officials now saying war could come in days. They're, of course, on the front line here and will probably participate. We had General Jack Keane on this show on Tuesday predicting a strike to take out Iran's leadership with Israel's help. How likely do you think it is?
Well, this is really interesting. As you recall, prior to Prime Minister Netanyahu coming over here a few days ago, Israel was kind of asking the United States to proceed with caution when it came to strikes against Iran. That seemingly, you just read the new quote. I think that whatever meeting occurred, the meeting that occurred between Netanyahu and Trump seems to have yielded some kind of strategy. You saw the president move the Gerald R. Ford strike group, carrier strike group, into the region. That's the second strike group that's there. These guys mean business. Now, the one caveat that I would take issue with General Keane, and I have a ton of respect for him, is what makes this operation very different from the first strike against Iran and from the Maduro attack in Venezuela, is that this is not an in and out, a strike and leave, a snatch and grab as it was in Venezuela. If you go in to take on the regime, I think that this is a very different scenario for the United States. And President Trump is well aware of the issues that arise when you topple a regime and the responsibility that you have, especially one that has at least nuclear capabilities. I think that that's where I believe that there will be a limited strike focused on specific military targets, potentially some airfields, things like that, where they maim the regime. But I'm not sure that they're going for full regime change just yet.
I don't know if that's quite possible. I think, to be fair to him, he was suggesting that making the conditions right for a change of regime. I'm not sure that he's promised that it would automatically happen, which is probably why.
Okay.
Sean Spicer, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.